FDI from China. So it's a really interesting connection between these two. I personally think that both papers have great potential and will make contributions. And the first one, I think we had some really good discussion already, have some suggestions. I think with some more work, deeper data analysis, go back to your data, say where really they will tell you some stories, much more detailed stories. And you'll be able to actually come up with some really good analysis and make some meaningful contributions. I would also say that you really ramp up the theoretical framework. Really, right now it's really not anchored very well on the theory. Given the position of the paper, I think that part is still very weak. The second paper, I just put in my 2 cents here, and really it's political impact or political ties, how it impacts on FDI. There's a lot of research on this topic, particularly political science and some economics literature. So there's real rich, literature you can go into. And we know, it does help. It does impact. Even in this country, you might remember in August 23rd, when China announced it's going to slash $75 billion tariff on U.S. products, imported from U.S. And you know what Trump did? He said, some of you might remember, he said, I'm going to stop American company from investing in China. That was his response. Because of his response, all the reporters going around crazy. They even came to me to ask, hey, Professor Yang, what do you think? So they interviewed me for, KTVU Channel 2, interviewed me on that very same day on this topic. And you can tell that, political ties does have, great deal impact, even in free market country, supposed to be free market country, in this country and the democratic country, right? Even this has impact. So definitely the topic is a great topic. But right now, as it stands right now, it seems to be in a very early stage of the research. And even some of the hypotheses, you will really have to reward the hypothesis. So right now, it doesn't really, tease out all the relationship. And it's more come to me as a proposition rather than a hypothesis. So we can discuss a little more about that. I do have papers, some of you probably don't. And we have a great deal, expertise in this room. So I would hope that you can benefit from some discussion here. So I'll stop myself here and open the floor to all the participants here. So please jump ahead, and William, you can probably go up here to answer some questions and answer. Yeah.
First of all, I like the paper as well. I think it's interesting. And I'm just a little bit worried because I have a paper with some similar variables on the second review of the Journal of International Business Policy right now, in which we look at UN voting in particular. And what we actually found is that the relationship between political risk and OFDI is linear. So China invests in a lot of very politically risky countries, and on the other hand, it invests in the very, very stable countries, but doesn't invest in the middle. And we didn't understand that this is one measure of political risk. And then we also found that political risk attracts Chinese investment. We tried to understand, well, why does political risk attract investment? And what we found out is that these kind of political relations and the BRI membership explains exactly that. So I think your paper drawing attention to these variables is really useful and has a lot of room for improvement. So I think it would be nice if we could get a whole bunch of other kind of variables that show like Ilan Bertinsky, I think, has alluded to, the relationship or the lack of relationship that exists as a result. I think, coming from Norway, by the way, I did see that basically China closed all the faucets. Looking at the latest trade war with the United States, immediately China stopped buying agricultural products to punish the states, the Republican states, to show Trump some muscle. So I think there's room for more of this type of research showing the links between political variables and investment. So I really encourage you to continue doing this type of research and to perhaps fine-tune this so that you can kind of add the contribution to the literature beyond what is about to be published and what has been published before.
So I have a question here on the political ties. So basically, you are using, for example, a higher level understanding between the country, right? Either UN Assembly and Dalai Lama visit. I'm curious, any other bigger indicator that you use set up national bodies? Do you have other kinds of political ties measurements?
There are some other measurements that I've found in the literature or that I've thought about. One of the big problems with a lot of these measurements is that it's kind of difficult to see whether they're like stuff like people-to-people exchange could be used, but people-to-people exchange is also one very big thing that by itself drives investment. So it's a little, or these things by themselves, at least not in the literature that I've found so far, haven't been shown to drive investment as much as some other things that I've looked at. I do have this measure that looks at basically political reporting about China, which basically looks at the main newspaper articles. And I also have one measure that I'm still working on that is therefore not included in this data, which basically codes interstate events. So like if President Obama and President Xi Jinping meet, and the wording is they came to an agreement is something else than they exchanged ideas. So this is like one measure that I'm currently working on. So like direct interstate or like interstate leader exchanges, and then there's a conflict data scale, it's usually called, that looks at how you can code this kind of automatically.
Did you do state visits? Did you ever look at state visits?
I did have a look at state visits. I scraped some data, some websites, and I wasn't sure how to normalize that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Because just doing state visits is kind of difficult. I would have to do state visits normalized by size or by something.
Because bigger countries get more state visits?
Yes.
Okay, but bigger countries also get more investments, right?
True.
The other thing you could do is, currently you have this control variable, economic development level, institutions. I think one thing which will make it attractive to the audience, to the review editors, is that you have some kind of novelty, some novel approach to look at the issue. Maybe instead of looking at these variables as control variable, you might look at it as a moderator. How they actually moderate the relationship. Institutional distance, for instance, could be a moderator, and level economic development as a moderator instead of control variable. And then you can really tease out a lot more that way.
Yeah.
And think about that. Okay, sure.
One variable I'm thinking is China trying to add on lines and create some organization. For example, Shanghai organization, maybe the BRIC. I don't know if that's become.
I did have common trade agreements in there, which I didn't find significant, but I looked at it.
So what would be really nice is to get an inventory of all these different types of political connections or disconnections, and then see which one of these inventory of variables is most impactful.
Oh, you can do factor analysis first.
Yeah.
Find out.
Different methods that you could use.
Okay, you can go back to William Wei's paper as well. I think there's more discussions. There might be more questions for you, Tim.
Sure. I can answer them for you.
Yes,
Sorry, mine is not a question. I just want to make a broad suggestion to almost everybody who is here together, because I was talking to Professor Yang earlier on. The Chinese investment, trade, and operations in Africa is now so huge, very, very big. And what I was telling Professor Yang is that most of the institutions that teach Chinese studies should actually include Sino-African trade, investment, and operations in your timetable. You know, because it is very important. Africa should not be sidelined. Africa is now one of the biggest trading partners with China. So if you can include those in your curriculum, it will be very useful.
But I think it's the opposite. China is the biggest trading partner for Africa.
Yeah, okay.
Not Africa is the biggest trading. United States is the biggest trading partner for China, right?
Okay.
But certainly Africa is on the map and has to be, you know, we have received in this conference quite a lot of China-Africa papers over the years.
Yes.
And
So
published some of them in the journal and books.
yes, but it would be good if institutions that conduct or teach Chinese studies include these things in their curriculum. You know, what do you think? It will be good. So professors here, when you go back, if you need any inputs, you can always email me. I'll be of assistance to you. Because it's a very important development coming up. Africa is going forward. It's not going backwards.
Well,
Thank you.
I think particularly given the current climate, China-Africa relationship is only getting more significant,
Yes.
more important, and there's a lot of work to be done. William Wei, maybe I can promote your conference. It's gonna have a conference on
African business
right?
development.
Yeah, next year, next May. And MOR is going to have Frontier Conference in Africa on Chinese outbound investment in Africa next year as well, around same time. So apparently you can see that people are looking at Africa and see what we can learn there.
So following Xiaohua, we are organizing a conference in my school in Alberta, May the 19th to 23rd.
Next year.
Next year in 2020.
That's McEwan University in Canada.
Yeah.
I was there before in 2009.
Okay, so we are organizing this again.
Okay.
African Development and Business Conference.
Okay.
So if you are interested in having some snow in May, you can come.
Okay. All right. With that, I think that we had a really great discussion, and these two papers are really great. And I think that they have great potential, and I hope that with the feedback you get, you can improve it, and you will eventually publish it and make contribution. I want to thank all of you to be here and for your contribution. And personally, I want to congratulate the conference organizer and for their persistent effort over the 13 years and make it, the China theme a constant theme. And we know, I think that the president said so well, without understanding China, we can't understand much of other continents, right? Because it's so intertwined and so embedded with each other. And so I hope that this conversation will continue, and I thank you for your enthusiastic participation, and wish you the rest of your conference going well. Thank you very much.